Hey everyone, John at Midnight Paint and Body here again. In this video, I'm just going to answer kind of a common question. Why does it cost so much to paint stuff? So what we're working on here today is a set of these rust holder inners for a brand new Dodge truck. So I'm going to kind of go over this with you guys and just show you what's involved in prepping and painting and material cost and all that kind of stuff. So you know, to start with, I mean, these need to be hand sanded. You know, it doesn't take a really long time, but they need to be completely sanded, and they've got all these stupid little pockets in here and everything. And you know, if all that stuff isn't sanded properly, the paint's just going to peel off, which you've probably seen a million times on these kind of flares. So, yeah, I mean, obviously I'll fast forward through all the boring sanding stuff, but you know, it all takes time. In all the years I've been in this trade, of course, I've heard it all too, you know. Oh, so-and-so will do it for $100. Well, that's fine. Take it to so-and-so. Alright, so that's the flares all prepped. Pretty much the end of the day now, but tomorrow morning we'll throw these in the paint booth and we'll go over the steps involved in painting them. Hey, good morning everyone. It's the next day. As you can see, I've got the flares set up in the paint booth. So now that they're all prepped, everything's been sanded, our next step is to wash everything down with some wax and grease remover. When you're using this stuff, you want to use a wet cloth, dry cloth. You don't want to spritz on the wash solvent, wipe it off. It doesn't do as good of a job. So this step is very important. So you might be able to see I've already wet down the floor in the paint booth. Now obviously that's not a common practice when you have a professional booth, but I work out of a homemade booth here, which has served me well. Unfortunately, for a little home-based business like I have, spending $100 grand on a paint booth isn't really in the cards. Just for reference, let me show you here. So that's what the wet cloth is taking off before I get to the dry cloth. So I think if you're just spritzing your cleaner on and then wiping it off, you're not getting that off first. Up some sealer. The next step in the process is some urethane sealer. If you don't put sealer on there, if you try and paint right over that black primer that comes on those things, the paint's going to come off. Might not be right away, but it doesn't stick. They have to have sealer. Just like doing any new parts, like you buy a new fender for your truck and it's black. If you paint right over that black, it's just going to chip and peel off. So you definitely have to have it primed or sealed before. And getting back to, why it costs so much to do automotive paint, I tell you, none of this stuff is cheap. It's all very expensive. This product line that I use is a lot more affordable than some. But definitely works just as well. I've always been very happy with it. The last step before applying the sealer, you take a tack cloth. It's like a kind of sticky cheesecloth, and run it over everything. This is going to catch any last little bits of dust. So now we'll mix up some paint. In this case, those parts are just going to solid white, so I'm just going with a single stage urethane paint. So it's just like a direct gloss. It won't need to be clear coated. If it was a metallic color, pretty much anything else, I would be doing a base coat clear coat. And again, this all adds to the cost to doing a job like this. This is all expensive stuff, so. I know it might look like I'm rich looking around my vast empire here, but I'm just scratching out a living like everyone else. But it's great, making a living, doing what you enjoy. Good days and bad days like everything else. Hey guys, so there you have it. There's a completed set of fender flares. Now, I was just using these as an example because I have been asked over the years why automotive paint costs what it costs. So, just a quick breakdown. I mean, as you saw, customer brought me the flares. So I had, Scotch brake pads to sand them. I had solvent and cloths to wash them down prior to paint. Urethane sealer, hardener and reducer for that. The single stage urethane paint, hardener and reducer for that. Solvents and whatnot to clean up my spray guns. So, all that stuff adds up. I had, at least $100 in materials into doing something like this. In my shop, I charge an hour piece to a set of flares, 75 bucks an hour. And then I charge an extra half hour to put them together with these bushwhackers, because they're a pain in the butt. So that works out to about 340 bucks, I think, plus tax. So, you take off the materials and break that down, and, it's, nobody's getting rich. Definitely not me. But, of course, my helper over here, he doesn't work for free, he eats dog biscuits. Anyway, guys, hope that was informative. Hope it answers some questions, helps some guys out, and it, kind of shows you the steps involved in doing some of this paintwork. So, as always, thanks so much for watching the videos. If you haven't already, subscribe, because that really helps me out. And I do hope to see you on the next one.